Statistics South Africa's Statistician-General will hand over the census for 2022 to President Cyril Ramaphosa in just the next few months. Ntokozo Khumalo is at the Union Buildings where the handover will take place. Earlier, she reflected on the last census that was conducted 12 years ago now, back in 2011.
Well, a census is one of the principal ways for decision makers to really tally up that data on the size of the population as well as the housing situation in the country. And since the dawn of democracy, South Africa has had three censuses, so one in 96, in 2001 and in 2011. Now, naturally, covering business will be interested in those economic indicators such as household income and the labor markets. And if we do look back into the last census in 2011, when we take a look at income there, it seemed really the economy supported South African households during that period. We saw that income was consistently higher than inflation, with CPI at the time indicating that income should increase by 77% during that period to stay in line with inflation. Income more than doubled across all races compared to what was earned in 96. But despite this, we did see inequality being evident with black households earning a fraction of what was earned by Indians and white-headed households, and that's regardless of the group's income, showing the biggest jump over the decade, increasing by 170%. And if we look by sex, the average female-headed household had just more than a half of the annual income in 2011 that was earned by the male counterparts, who earned an average of 128,000 rand per annum. However, the average female-headed household increased their income by over 104% over that period when compared to their male counterparts. And according to that census, 4 out of every 10 South African owned and paid off their properties, 3 out of 10 owning cell phones, 7 out of 10 with refrigerators, and that's compared to just 4 out of 10 in 1996. And also 4 out of 10 people having landlines in their houses back in 2011. But what is interesting is that a relatively high proportion of households had no access to the internet, despite 6 out of 10 or 6 out of those 10 accessing the internet through their cell phones. So really what the picture was about 10 years ago when it comes to just household income and owning goods and the properties. And looking at employment, nothing much has changed over the last 10 years, with black Africans really remaining the most vulnerable in the economy, and young people the most affected and struggling to get those employment opportunities.